Alright gang, welcome back to our survival challenge here on New Frontier. It is June, day 1. We have a new piece of equipment, as you can clearly see. I upgraded our drill. This drill came out in the used market between the last episode and this one. Decided to go ahead and pick it up. It was about a 1-for-1 trade for the most part. I think I had to spend like $500-600 extra, but that was pretty much it. So I picked this up. It gives us the ability to do both fertilizing and seed drilling at the same time, so that will save us a little bit of time, and it is a little bit of a wider width as well, so pretty useful. Couldn't really pass it up, so we went ahead and purchased it. So I'm going to put this away. Now, between the last episode and this one, I have been busy. I have been very busy. Now, it may not look like it on the surface, but I have been very busy. Specifically, I've been so busy that we knocked down a ton of trees. There's still a ton of trees to actually pick up, but we've knocked down a ton of trees. And you can see a lot of them still laying down there in the distance. I've also knocked some down over here, as you can see. There's a few back there behind the sawmill as well. I have been very busy. Let me give you a bird's eye view, or the best I can do of a bird's eye view of what I'm talking about here. So, we've knocked down a bunch in here that I've already taken and put into the sawmill. There's a ton down right here, as you can see. I've kind of started making a dent going back towards, well, I think our line is somewhere in here, the edge of our actual land, somewhere in there. But I've started making a dent going that way because, as we've mentioned before, we're going to kind of split this field into two eventually, and we're going to kind of extend it going this way, right, and make it pretty long. So we've been very busy, gang, very busy indeed. The sawmill itself is jam-packed. It is not as full as it could possibly be, but it's up there, man. I'm going to tell you right now, it is up there. We are at 90,000 liters of wood, and actually I had it over 100,000 liters between when I finished the last episode with all of you. I left all of you and went to this one. It was at like 108, maybe 108,000 liters, something like that. So a lot. We also have a lot of outgoing products. They're all good to sell today. So that's what we're going to do. Since we have so much wood anyway, we'll make more. I'm not too concerned about it. So we're going to go ahead and put all of these on selling. We do need to bring a wood beam up to the construction project for our log cabin, but we have one of those. Actually, I have the wrong thing on the front here. Let me go ahead and flip those. And while I'm at it, I forgot to turn this off, so let me turn this off. Come on. Turn the interactive zone markers back off. Don't need those anymore. So a very productive and a very busy period of time off camera, and the fruits of that labor are going to start showing here very soon once we work on starting to expand our operation here, right? We're not far away, I think, from that inevitability occurring. But right now what we need to do is sell what's remaining there, and I wish I would have started with that instead of showing you everything else, because we could have already had that money, but that's okay. We'll wait until 10 o'clock. We'll get a bunch of money at 10 o'clock. We'll get a lot of money at 10 o'clock. At least we should get a lot of money at 10 o'clock. And that'll be money that we desperately need, because I believe in the next episode, unless we decide to do 2 days in June here, but the next episode, I believe, we will be needing a harvester. I believe our oat field will be ready to harvest, which is exciting. Now, we also have a bunch of pallets that are sitting out here, as you can see. We're going to have to sell those manually. There's nothing we can do about it because they've already spawned. So I'm going to have to put that on the trailer and bring them all the way up to the shop and sell those today as well. And I believe later on today, our silage bales should also be ready to sell. And we need to take a look at the sheep. The sheep should probably be fine, I think, because we don't have that many of them yet, but we need to take a look at those as well to see if they need anything. Water, food, etc. I don't think they're going to need any food, but they might need water. Who knows? Alright, let's see if we can try this again. The strategy we used last time seemed to work. Perfect. Alright, their wood beams are in there. So we're just going to wait till the next step. And like I said, we're selling a lot of that wood. Well, we're selling all the wood, I guess, today. But it's not too big of a concern for me, based solely on the fact that we have so much wood in there that we know we're going to make more. I'm not too concerned about it. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're doing well. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Well, as good as I can be. I had to, I had to kick my car in for its 90,000 service, right? And which is normally a pretty expensive service. That's the last big service for, you know, your car normally, if you keep it longer than that at least, which I have. My car is, I don't have that many miles on it for how old the car is. The car is 9 years old now, almost 10 years old, I guess. But I don't have to drive that far to work. I'm kind of lucky right now with where I work at. I've got about, with traffic, maybe a 7-minute drive to work. So it's not too bad. It was really not. It's not too shabby at all. So I don't have that many miles on my car. That's the reason why, really, another reason why I'm keeping it for as long as I have, because I don't have to drive it very far. I don't drive it. I drive a lot, but I don't drive, you know, to work a lot, right? Because I don't have to go that far. So, because of that reason, I'm keeping the car for a lot longer, so I decided to do it. Well, leading up to that, I had some major issues, and no idea what was going on or what was happening, and even the dealership didn't know what was going on either. So the problem I was dealing with is, right before I went to Vegas, all right, my car, which it's cold here in Ohio right now. When I left, I think we had I think it was 8 degrees or 12 degrees, something like that. It's pretty cold. So when we left, the pressure, the PSI in my front 2 tires were really low. I was like, that's weird. I was like, I guess it's just cold, and maybe they just, maybe just some air release somehow, and we'll just put some more air in. Put some air in, drove around on them for a while. No problem. Perfectly fine. Nothing to worry about. Cool. Parked it. Next day, I leave and go to Vegas, right? For the Vegas trip that I had planned for many months. I come back home, and the tires are down to 15, 16, 17 PSI. Really low. They should be around, 35 to 40. And they were that low, so not good, right? So I go and I fill them up again, and I let it happen one more night just to see how it goes, because that was the point where we were doing the burial and everything for my grandma, so I didn't really want to, not be able to go to that and not have a car or anything like that. So held off one more day. Same thing happened the next day. I'm like, well, shit, something is desperately wrong right now with my tires. I was like, maybe it'd be a puncture, but you wouldn't think a puncture would happen in both tires, but I mean, I guess it could have. But I checked them, didn't see any kind of punctures, nothing at all, so I ended up taking it to the dealership. Long story short, I ended up having to replace both tires, and those tires are really not that old. I bought new tires probably 2 years ago, so they're really not that old. So I had to place 2 new tires. Then I had to get new sensors into the tires themselves, new beads, scrape off any rust that would occur, just your typical rust that would occur around the edges of the rims versus the tires themselves, and just to make sure that all the seal was proper. They really didn't know which one it was. They think it was probably the bead and the sensors themselves being bad, but it was not an expense I was hoping to have right after Christmas and right after that Vegas trip. So a little unfortunate, but we're going to get through it. Or we got through it, but that was my day the other day. It was not a fun day by any means. So, by the other day, I mean yesterday. It was my day yesterday. So, it was a fun little expense to be thrown at me. Good thing is I've taught my wife to do it too. I have an emergency account is what I would call it. And it basically, you put a certain amount of money in there every year, and then at the end of the year you take half of it and you put it into your savings, and the other half you can do whatever you want with. You want to go vacation with it, whatever you want to do, and then you start over. You do that every single year basically, and that emergency fund there is for situations like this. Now I didn't have $2,600 in that emergency fund. Normally it's around $1,200. It's about $100 a month, you put in there just as in case something like this happens, as protection, so you don't have as big of an expense, right? So it's better than it could have been, but it's still not great. Where am I going? I am going to the sawmill. We do not need to go to the sawmill. Just talking to you and not really paying attention, just driving around. Anyway, long story short, I guess what I'm trying to get at is it was not a fun expense. It was not a fun thing, and I didn't expect that to be happening, and kind of sucks. But it is what it is. What are you gonna do, right? What are you gonna do? All right, 38,366 out of that. That is awesome. That is so much money, gang. Now I feel a lot better about our harvester, and we're going to make a hell of a lot more money when 10 o'clock hits, too. So, let's get back to the farm, and we'll take a look. We did have a little hail damage that happened. I'll have to show that to you as well. See you back at the farm. Well, I could not hit the record fast enough, gang. We are up to $117,000 due to selling the wood. That is awesome. That is awesome. Okay, so let's just stop here for a second. Let me do this. I'll show you right there. Here's some hail damage, as you can see. I think that's it in our grass field, I think. But over here, we got some pretty heavy hail damage as well. A little unfortunate, but is what it is, right? What can you do about it? Nothing. Nothing you can do. Alright, so let's drive over and take a look at the bales. I don't think they're going to be ready, but let's drive over there and look at them. We'll see how they look. Then we'll head back over here, check the sheep, and then when all that's done, we can mow this big grass field here. Let's see, how we doing here? How are the bales doing? They are silage. We are good, so we can sell those. Price for silage, let's see here. We know it doesn't fluctuate that much, but since we have $117,000 now, it might be smart for us just to kind of move these over to our storage area and then hold on to them until they are best to sell. Let's see. 357 is what they are right now, so they're not that great. I think we'll keep them. It's not, I mean, like I said, we're not making a ton of money, extra money off of it, but I think we're going to keep them. I think we're going to keep them. Now, there are a lot of new mods that came out. I don't specifically think we're going to do it on this series. I think we're going to stick with the wrapping of the bales. But there is a silo that came out, a silage silo, where you can put grass into it and it'll turn into silage for you. It's real convenient. It's much easier to do, but I don't think we're going to do that on this series, at least not yet. Maybe late in the series potentially, maybe, but not anytime soon. I think that would make it a little bit too easy for us right now. So let's, continue to do it the old-fashioned way, I guess, if you will, right? Let me actually take this off really quick. But yeah, a lot of mods came out. There's not really a lot, unfortunately, for this series yet. Later on, absolutely, but not really yet. We're still kind of, even though it may not feel like it, I guess, we're still kind of in the early stages. And what I mean by the early stages is we don't have a whole lot going on here, right? We're doing a couple of things. We've got one true crop field. We're going to make another crop field here probably today. We're going to probably split this field up today, but we want to mow it first, right? We want to make sure we get the money's worth out of it. But really, until that happens, I mean, we're still just kind of status quo of sticking with mowing the grass and doing what's working for us. Alright, I think we got ourselves lined up about as good as we're going to get. Let's go ahead and put that down. And we are underway, baby. Let the mowing begin. So I'm going to leave all of the wood stuff on selling for right now. I will turn it back off either when we're ending the episode today or maybe even off camera. I might just turn it all off then. But we're going to leave it all on for right now. Just because we'll make maybe a little bit of extra money today by leaving it on. And we should be able to spawn one of the pallets we're going to need more than likely for the log cabin in between this episode and the next one, right? Because we're probably gonna, like I said, only do 1 month, more than likely. I went a little bit too far there. That's all right. Probably only going to do 1 month here. In June, more than likely. We really don't need 2 months yet. It's going to start, you know, mattering a little more when we have more crop fields that we're growing with, and those crop fields themselves in general may or may not be able to get harvested in time, right? We might run out of time, or raining, or hailing, or whatever it is, right? That's really what's going to help us with those extra days, but we don't have to use those unless we really want to. And I think what I'm going to do this time is kind of go around the headland here instead of just doing the up and down, since I'm probably going to leave, you know, at least one of these down at all times. So I might as well just go ahead and do a headland pass. That way I can just turn easier. So that's what we're going to do. We have some more floating branches, as you can see, but we will be taking care of those. It's not a problem. Don't worry. We'll take care of them. Now, recently, let's see. I guess it would have been a couple of days ago now at the time that this is going to be released to all of you. On my other channel, just a shameless plug real quick. Bear with me if you're not interested in my other channel at all. That's perfectly fine. But shameless plug for a second. On my other channel, I started playing through Dynasty Warriors Origins, which is really the bread and butter. That's really what I started doing YouTube with. Before even I started doing videos on this, I started doing videos on my other channel, and mostly for Dynasty Warriors type of stuff. Now I do kind of a plethora of all different kinds of games and playthroughs of those games, but that's what I started with. So Dynasty Warriors Origins came out. Unfortunately, when it came out, I just got back from Vegas and I was deathly ill, as you all know. So I didn't really get to do a playthrough of it, but I started it recently. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I'm very excited about it. If it's something you're interested in, or if you don't even know what it is about, maybe go over there to my other channel, links in the description down below, and give it a watch, see if you're interested in it. It's a lot of fun, man. They did a pretty good job with it. Again, I'm not that far into it. I'm only technically have 3 episodes at the time of this recording. I only have 3 episodes done on it, but they did a pretty good job, man. I was a little concerned with it, if you know anything about Dynasty Warriors, that it wasn't going to feel like Dynasty Warriors anymore, mostly because of how the last few games have done, which have been less than a success by any means. But they did a good job, man. They really did. It still has that Dynasty Warriors feel to it, but it is very much different. It's very much in the aspect of games today, right? Single player games today, how they feel. So they did a good job. I'm impressed. I'm happy with it. But anyway, shameless plug. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, or if you're interested in checking that out, go check my other channel out. Give me a subscription, or a follow, whatever you want to do. I would appreciate it. Now, back to your normal farming. So we're going to kind of go around here a second time with the headland pass here, just to give ourselves enough room to do a turnaround without having to pick up the mowers if I don't want to. Makes it easier for me. We may even expand it out a little ways over into that area. This is going to give us a lot of bales, gang. This is going to be a monster amount of bales we're going to get right now. So I recently watched one of my members' videos, Tony. He's doing a challenge, which is interesting to me. I might take on this challenge at some point down the line in the future, or at least a version of it, something similar, where he's doing a challenge where basically it's like an animal whisperer challenge is what it's called. And essentially the goal is you have to you can have crop fields and you can harvest stuff and you can do all that, but if you're doing that, it has to be utilized for your animals, and basically you have to like max out all the animals. And what I mean by that is you have to have like the biggest animal enclosure with all the animals in there for every single one. So pigs, water buffalo, goats, sheep, chickens, the whole 9 yards, everything. You got to do them all. It sounds like an interesting little challenge there. It'd be very difficult, I think, and very time-consuming for sure to manage all those animals. That many animals. This will be a lot. So I'm interested to see how he continues to do on that series. And if you're interested in that, maybe you'll give him a follow as well. One of the challenges that I've been kind of tinkering with, working on, trying to work out the kinks for in the future, whether it's going to replace something we currently have or if it'll be, you know, way down the line, who knows. But I was talking through it with Crustu, and he was laughing at me. He's like, man, that is a hell of a challenge. So we'll see. He's not wrong. It is a hell of a challenge what I came up with. I'm not going to give anything away because we're likely to do some version of it. And whenever that time comes, I'll always tell you, you know, if I did any kind of modifications or anything like that. But it's going to be something. It's going to be something when the time comes for that one. So let's continue on here, gang. We'll get the rest of this mode up. There's not a ton left. Actually, I did a lot of talking, so there's not a ton left. But let's get more of this done, and I'll see you guys when we're all finished. Well, that's a little bit interesting. I thought I thought I replaced the battery, and evidently I didn't. So I probably edit that out. So you may not even know what I'm talking about right now. But basically, the battery thing popped up at the bottom, and I thought I replaced it, and I didn't replace it, and the whole screen kind of froze on me. But anyway, we got it back sorted out. So we're underway here doing some wind rowing, as you can see. There's a hell of a lot of grass here, gang. This is a lot. We are going to make a pretty penny off of this, I think. Now, we're probably going to not be able to get the entire field drilled in today's episode. What we'll likely end up doing is once we get all the grass done, the bales taken care of here, we'll see where we are time-wise, but we're probably going to be at a point where we are then, well, yeah, we're at a point then where we're going to be trying to expand part of this field that way, just by plowing it up, right? But that will probably be the extent. I don't think we're going to be able to go a whole lot longer than that in the episode, as far as drilling it and stuff. So we could take care of that in the next episode, though. That's not too big of a deal, right? All right, so what else can I talk to you about? We talked about my other channel and playing through Dynasty Warriors. We talked about the car issues that I ran into, the unfortunate car issues. Earlier today, I'm recording this on a Saturday. Earlier today, I went over to my grandma's house, who recently passed away, just helping my mom and my uncle kind of go through things, right? Trying to figure stuff out. And a couple cool things I got out of that exchange. They basically said, you can have whatever you want to have. And there's a cuckoo clock. I know that sounds weird. I'm not like a big, massive cuckoo clock fan or anything like that. But I was little. I want to say, I don't know how. It was high school at some point. We went to Germany. I was in a German class for high school, and they did a trip to Germany. Obviously, at a very cheap expense for the students. So we went to Germany, and when we were over there, I asked my grandma what she wanted, and she said she would love to have one of the German cuckoo clocks. So I guess there's an area in Germany, and I really don't remember all of this, but I guess there's an area in Germany, I think it's in the Black Forest, I think, where they're famous for making cuckoo clocks. So I got her a cuckoo clock over there, and I was able to get that back. So that's a lasting memory for me of my grandma. So I'm very excited about that. Like I said, I'm not a huge cuckoo clock guy, but it's nice to have something that I purchased for her back in my possession, because I can always remember her that way, right? So my wife and I are going to hang it up somewhere in the foyer or something like that in the house. I say the foyer like I have a foyer. I don't know, like the entryway. I don't know what do you call that? Is that a foyer? Is that what you call it? I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? Where you open up the front door to your house. There's like a little hallway. Well, I guess not everybody has a hallway, but we have a hallway. So we're thinking about putting it there. But anyway, I guess the long story short, what I'm trying to get at is I'm excited that I have that to remember her by. My wife is big into ducks. She loves ducks. And my grandma had some little like porcelain ducks or whatever you want to call them in her room, and so she took that. So we got a couple things to remember her by, so I'm pretty excited about that. Don't hit it. I hit it. Couple other things as well we got, but more than likely I'm just going to try to resell those for my family on eBay or something like that, because I'm probably the most tech savvy in the family, so I will do what I can to try to sell those. And then probably the rest of the stuff will probably just go to some kind of garage sale. Shouldn't have a ton of stuff, but there's enough knick-knack kind of things there that we probably can put in a garage sale. All right, so we talked about that. What else can I talk about? Is there anything else I have to talk about? I don't know. Some days I have absolutely nothing to talk to you about, even though I do. It's nothing's coming to my head. And then other days I can just ramble on to all of you for hours, as those of you who've been around for a long time know. I'm trying to think what else I got. Anything else? Not sure if I got anything else. Windrowing's all done though, so we can put this away. Now, I didn't go over there and get all the bales that we went and looked at. I'm going to leave them there for right now. I will probably move them over here and put them in the shed. Along with these bales we're getting ready to make right now, we're going to move those into the shed as well, but... Oh, before I forget, because I forgot in the last episode, I know I did. I said we were going to talk about going and looking at the sheep. We didn't do it. Before I forget again, let's go look at the sheep right now. Plenty of grass. There's no problem there. There's just not that many sheep. That's why I'm thinking they're perfectly fine. We do have a pallet of wool that's starting, but there's not much there. They're meadow. They've got plenty of grass in the meadow, as you can tell. It's pretty tall. But look at them jumping around, having a good time. Food, they're at 3,000. Water, they're 1,000. Yeah, they're fine. They're fine. They are perfectly fine. No worries at all with the sheep right now. So, let's get to bale in here, gang. We already have a bunch of grass in here, so it's not going to take long before we make another bale here. It's going to be pretty quick. Especially the size of these swaths. They're massive. As you can already see. We're already full again. Look at that. It's crazy. And these are the big bales too. Well, the bigger bales for the baler we have. Still making a small amount of money. As you can see, we're at 119,000 now, so that's good. We actually have enough right now that we could pay off the loan if we wanted to, but maybe we pay off part of it. But you know, we need that that harvester, right? We need that harvester, so I might hold off on that for just a little bit longer, just to make sure we got the harvester we want. Because I've mentioned it once before, and I'm going to mention it again here. I would like to not get the cheapest harvester if at all possible. We use that cheap harvester in a lot of the different series, and I think at this point we've got enough income potential with the amount of grass we have, with the amount of trees we have, that we could and should be able to get a larger harvester here. So, with that full understanding, let's do what we can to try to get one, and we'll hold off on paying the loan back for a little bit longer. Not much longer, but a little bit longer. Once we start selling some of the crop and things like that, that'll certainly go towards it. Now we will, with that oat, we should be able to drop straw, and we can make some straw bales as well. Probably just for selling, more than likely. There probably won't be a whole lot we're going to utilize those straw bales for, unless we decide to do, you know, pigs or something where we need straw. Straw bedding, rather. Cows, I think, might take that as well. I don't know about water buffalo. We're going to do water buffalo, so maybe water buffalo. Maybe they need it. I don't know. We'll find out. Water buffalo are the next things we're going to be putting in. That's probably the only other animal we're going to put in. We might do bees. Bees are easy, though, right? There really is no maintenance with bees or anything like that. But I definitely want to do water buffalo, because that's an animal, new animal, that I've yet to do. We were talking about ducks earlier, right? My wife likes ducks, and I mentioned that if you watched my What I Want to See in FS25 video, where I just kind of talked through with you what I would like to see out of FS25. One of those was I wanted to see ducks, which should have been a relatively easy thing to do. Maybe they'll add it in like a DLC or something, but I would love ducks, because you could utilize the same kind of thing as the chickens, just, you know, use a different image over top of it, of the same design, and make it ducks, right? I would love to have ducks. Such a simple thing, but I would love to have them. Oh, I got something I can talk to you about. Now the ducks, I can talk to you about ducks. So one of our good friends, one of our really good friends, He's got a woodworking shop in one of the downtown small little cities that is, well, I guess it's town, really, that's near us. It's not where we live, but it's near us. He used to be one of our neighbors. He lived down the street and then moved away and built that shop or whatever. Well, it's a shop inside of his house that he bought in a downtown, a small downtown. Anyway, getting off tangent for a second. Long story short, he was driving home one day and was driving his truck, and I think it was a mallard, flew out in front of him, and clearly he hit it. Nothing he could do, right? He was going at speed. There's nothing he could do, but it's sad, so he hit a duck, whatever. So he gets home and he finds feathers in the truck, right? And all of us have been giving him a hard time relentlessly for the last probably 2+ years. And when I mean all of us, I'm talking about everybody. We randomly just put ducks all over the place. So his old actual neighbor, his next door neighbor, like I said, we live down the street from him, but his old actual neighbor, he went all out and got a big stuffed duck, put it in a coffin, like a plastic coffin thing, stuck it outside in Memram. Like, it was a whole big thing, and everybody in the town got word of it, and now it's like everybody does it. It's hilarious. The cops came by and they paid their respects to the duck in the coffin. I mean, it's just, we're just giving him absolute hell, giving him grief about it, but he's a good sport about it. It's fun. Well, he was there in Vegas. He just came out just to come out. He wasn't playing in the tournament, anything like that. He just came out there to hang around, hang out with me. It was my birthday while I was out there, so he just came to hang out and, be there and enjoy the time in Vegas. And his fiance also came. Really, his fiance is good friends with my wife, so, there's somebody else for my wife to hang out with, because my wife didn't take part in the tournament. She was just hanging out there until she got sick. But, so they were there, my birthday dinner, and I snuck a rubber ducky in his glass of wine at dinner, and he did not realize it was there for about 5 minutes, and then took a drink and the duck fell on his face. It was priceless. It could not get any better than that. I don't know if I'm explaining it well enough for it to be funny for you, but I'm telling you, it was hilarious, and you should have saw his face. If I could have captured his face on camera, I would have done it. It was hilarious. So, long story short, we like to play pranks, and we've got that one going pretty strong on him. I think that might be the only other thing really I can think of to talk about right now. So, let's carry on. We'll knock this out. We'll probably wrap these as well. More than likely, I think. We've got a ton of bales already. We're going to have a ton more here soon. So, let's get going. And be back with you soon. Well, bad news, gang. I completely forgot. It's June, which means we really can't put anything in the ground right now. At least nothing that we currently own. I could go buy a vegetable planter and we could put like carrots in, but we're going to have to wait. There's not a whole lot that I can plant right now, unfortunately. I thought, for some reason, that oat was still able to be planted, but I think we literally just missed the cutoff for it. Well, I guess it was 2 months ago, so I was wrong. But I swear that we could have planted. It was soybeans. That's what it was. Soybeans was and sorghum were last month, so we literally just missed it. There's really nothing we can plant. We can plant red beets, parsnip, olives, green beans, and carrots. I mean, I guess we could do oilseed radish, but I don't think we really need it. Grass was there before, so I really don't think we need it. So I guess that puts a stop to my plan there. We're really not going to be able to put anything in there until August, right? I don't think anything before that. Yeah, it looks like August is the earliest, and we could put canola in then in August. Huh. Well, shit. I literally just missed the cutoff on a lot of stuff. Damn. I'd like to do the green beans, but the problem still remains, as it has remained for a while. I need $498,000 just to harvest them. So, not saying we can't get there. We will eventually, but we're nowhere near that right now. So I guess what that means is we are going back to baling the rest of these. I was just going to leave the rest of these and kind of do them off camera. You did notice as well, I talked about it for a number of times now, I did buy the little extension there where it flips the bales on their side. I guess, well, they're always on their side, but just depends on which way you look at it, but you get what I mean. I did go ahead and purchase that. I do like the bales set up like that. I think I've mentioned that many times to you before. I don't know why. I just think it's easier because I can stack them on top of each other. Granted, we have a shed now that does all that for us, but it's still just personal preference, so I went ahead and spent the $2,000 so we could buy that. It's so basic. The thing that it utilizes to drop it down and make them flip. I mean, that's such an easy thing, but it works. Episode is already getting up there, though. I mean, we're at 40+ minutes, I think, for sure. Even when I work on the time lapses and everything, so not too bad. Not too bad. Just would have liked to at least start, if anything else, if nothing else, working on making that field from this grass here. But we're gonna have to wait a couple more months before we can do that. I guess the nice thing is if we do decide to do it, which, who knows? Maybe we will. Maybe we decide to make some carrots or a beet field or something. We can always do that in the next episode. It's not like we can't. Next episode, more than likely that oat field over there is going to be ready to harvest. I think I mentioned that early on in the episode, but I'll just show it to you. If it's not, it's going to be the following one. It's pretty close, though. That's a pretty dark green, so we'll see. We'll see what happens, but I would love for it to be ready to harvest. That means we would have to put down a silo. We haven't done that yet, but we already kind of know where we're going to put it. Some new silos came out on ModHub. I can't talk about that quickly. They are massive silos. Not anything we need on this series yet. Maybe in the future. Sure, but not right now. We are not big enough for that. They are very expensive. They're like the price of that green bean harvester I just showed you. Really, what we probably should look to do soon is get a secondary tractor. There was one out in the used market today in June. It was a little pricey, though. All right, a couple bales here, gang, counting the one we're doing right now, and we're all done with the bales. While that's going on, let's go ahead and find our wood here. Let's turn it back to storing. And we've got 12,457 liters of wood chips in there as well. I probably should take a look at wood chips and see if they're best to sell now, too. I don't know if they are or not, but we probably should look at it. Because if they are, we probably should consider maybe selling those today too. Let's see. Wood chips. We're going to have to scroll forever. Still want that option where I can hit a favorite button or something and it moves them up to the top in its own section at the top. Still want that. Yeah, we're holding off on wood chips. They're not till January, which is what I thought. Alright. All the baling is complete, gang. And so are we. We're going to leave the episode here. I'll clean all this up, put all this away here off camera. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider smashing the like button for me. Subscribe if you're new. Absolutely free to do both of those things. And they help me out more than you can possibly imagine. If you have any thoughts, questions, comments, or ideas, feel free to let me know down below in the comments. I'm happy to get back to you on those. And yeah, like I said, check out my other channel if you're interested in the Dynasty Warriors Origins game and the playthrough of that. It's a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. Hope you'll join me there. Hope you'll join me back here again tomorrow. And I'll see you in the next episode.